forward to this computer. And it is 5:02. So we're going to get started because I don't want to keep you guys too long, and you guys may have some questions and it might take up some more of our time. So I'm Mr. Ramsey, Daryl Ramsey, your principal of Eastwood Elementary. I've been here since December 2018. I came to California from New Jersey. So I have a different experience when I was over there as a teacher, as a coach. Even in North Carolina, I spent a few years teaching down there as well when I went to college. And so I got married and moved out here. And so I am now a California boy again. I was born out here. So I'm here again. And I was at Garden Hill for about 2.5 years as their dean of students, and then became the principal of Eastwood. So been around the district a few years now, and, made some good connections, have learned a lot, and continue to grow and learn as a professional, as an educator, and as a principal. I do like to say, I'm not perfect. So when I make mistakes, I like to learn from my mistakes. So don't feel, if you got questions, I always say, feel free to ask away, shoot me an email, give me a call. We may not always see eye to eye, but I am always willing to grow and learn, and also to support you guys the best I can. And so for families that have worked with me, I feel I've done a good job at that, but I still can do better. So I will continue to do that. And I hope you guys would extend grace as I grow in that area. Now, getting to why you guys signed on tonight. Opening of school, and in the midst of the pandemic, and we went through distance learning, and then we did hybrid, and then we did a summer program that was kind of on campus half day, and then we took summer. And now here we are. For those that are signing up, we'll be able to come back in person full time. For those that may not feel comfortable yet, we do have that independent study / virtual program through the alternative education department. And some families have elected to sign up and participate in that. But for you guys, I think you guys are all looking to come back to school in person. So we need to review some of the protocols, some of the things that will be taking place, and some of the differences that are pre-COVID to present day. So I want to say, first and foremost, our schedule will go back to the regular schedule. The day will run from 8 o'clock to 2:17. 8 o'clock to 2:17. So our gates, we will open them at 7:45. That's how we used to do. And the bell will ring at 7:45 and students can enter campus. The bell will ring again at 7:55 as like that 5-minute warning bell. And then at 8 o'clock is the bell that rings to let you know school is starting. If you are entering campus after the 8 o'clock bell, you are considered late. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we go 8 to 2:17. On Wednesday, we have early release day. So that is 8 to 12:45. I mean, those are every Wednesday. So that's just the typical schedule. If you weren't here prior to COVID, that's the schedule we've always been on for quite some time. So we're going back to that. And again, I will have all this typed up and outlined for you guys. It's on the school website. I put calendar last night. I was up prior to like 11:30 updating the calendar on the school website. So if you ever know there's dates, holidays, is there school, is there not, when's their minimum days, you can access those from the school calendar. I'm sad to say our campus is still closed, meaning parents cannot come on campus at this time. I know you want to line up, take the picture, see the classroom, but unfortunately at this time, parents have to stay on the outside of campus. And so the students will be received by staff, and then you guys can pick them up outside the gates. If you were here during hybrid or our summer program, you kind of see what that looks like. And we will continue doing that for the foreseeable future until we get different guidance on the numbers and cases and safety and protocol. With that being said, this front gate, in front of the office, the blue gate will be open to access campus. The side gate by the 50 wing will be open to access campus. And the back gate where the bus drops off will be open to access campus in the morning. For dismissal, the front gate, side gate, back gate will be open, and we'll open the gate on the other side of the NPR so our 4th and 5th graders can go out, and so we don't have a bottleneck in the front of the school. So those are our gates, and those are our times. Again, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 to 2:17. On Wednesday, 8 to 12:45. So that's our schedule. Let me go to protocol. Some of you might say, so now we're coming back to school. Last year, we had to do temperature checks. We're not required to do temperature checks upon entry. We will have the temperature scanners We have a scanner in the office for visitors and things like that. And so we will be able to monitor, but we will not have to be required to take temperatures of every student, all 400 of us, every single day. So that is a change from in the spring when we open for hybrid to now. We have student shields on the desk. And I don't know if you saw the letter from our superintendent, but the shields will be placed on elementary desk. And if you do not wish for your child to have the shield on their desk, you can contact your teacher and they can remove it. We're starting with the shields on all the desks. And if it's something that you say, hey, I don't want that for my child, I don't feel like they need it, for whatever your reasons are, contact your teacher and say, I would like the shield to be removed from my student. And then that can be removed. Again, if you are fine with leaving the shield up, that's fine as well. That if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's trifold plexiglass shields that you can kind of see through. That's what was in place in the spring, and we still have those on campus to try to help with distancing. Social distancing is not required, but we say to the extent possible, we're trying to spread our students out. And sometimes when we can't spread them out, using the plexiglass shield can
such
help.
as sexual assault or a stray remark. Previously,
let's mute that person. Sorry, I don't know what that was. But again, the shield would help when we can't do the social distancing to try to help keep people separated. So again, it's an opt-out for elementary, because this is, I think in the letter that went to the superintendent, it says shields will be optional. Well, if you don't want your student, you'd have to contact the teacher or myself. If you're fine with them using the shield, you don't have to do anything. They'll be in place. And then mask. This is a big thing. Mask will be required when they are in the building. So that means in the classroom, in the office, in the bathroom, NPR, they have to wear a mask. When they are outside, they are able to take their mask off, because the county guidelines is when you're indoors with people, wear a mask. When you're outside, it is optional. So I don't know what you've been doing to prepare your students or how you've been talking to them, but if you're saying, hey, take it off when you're outside to get some breath, get some fresh air, that's fine. Let's just also be teaching them, make sure you're responsible where your mask is. We will have additional masks if students drop their masks, lose them, forget them outside, but that's something we just want to help them be mindful. It's like mask is like, clothes, shoes, different items. You got to keep track of them. And we want to make sure you keep your mask so that you're not wearing someone else's mask. You're not picking masks up off the ground just to get one in. We will have extras in case they lose them. They say, oh, I forgot. We will have additional ones. So just let your students know, keep track of your mask. But if you happen to forget, ask a supervision aide, a staff member, Mr. Ramsey. They can help you make sure that you have masks each and every day. And that is a huge thing. We need all of our students, while we're indoors, to wear masks. Okay. Let me shift over to, since we're talking about outside, lunch. I don't know if you've seen the reports and the things that have gone out, but lunch is free for every student for this school year, which is nice, that if families, haven't been able to send meals, or maybe you forget. Before it was like, oh, they have to pay and it might cause a bill because they don't eat. Now it's free. So if you want your children just to participate in the school lunch program, they can. If you still want to send lunch, that's fine as well. The choice is yours. But I wanted to let everyone know, if you did not know, that meals will be free for all students for this school year. We do ask that you still fill out the form, and you can find the form at www.yourchew.com, yourchew.com. And again, that just helps with numbers, documents, how we report to the district, to the state, things like that. But again, a child, if you're hungry and if you need to participate in the lunch, you do not have to pay this year. Meals will be free. So people might be saying, but Mr. Ramsey, how do you plan on kids eating and being on top of each other, things of that nature? I will say we got 10 new lunch tables for those that are worried about the condition of our old tables. We have been in the process of updating campus. They are blue and yellow, like our school colors. So I think it gives a little pop out there. We will also be utilizing the NPR. So we will now create 2 eating sections and spacing the students out so they're not eating on top of each other or even across from each other. And we are in the process of ordering additional seating outside like tables with umbrellas, because we know we need to keep our students spread out just to be safe. But I want you to know that your students will be able to eat without having to be like on top of each other. They will have the space to make sure that they are remaining safe, and they will be supervised the entire time. Class assignments. This is probably one of the hottest questions that I've received. Everyone's like, oh, when are we going to get them? When are we going to get them? And I know you're excited. I feel the energy. I totally get it. But because there has been a lot of changes in enrollment, we are still finalizing that. The finalized list, I would say to date, will be tomorrow. And so you'll get an email/text from me tomorrow, like we did last year. So you don't have to worry about coming to the school and looking at the list outside the office. The email will come to you. And if you signed up for text messaging, the text message will come to you. It would say your child's name, your teacher's name, and the grade assignment. Again, if you are one that said, oh, I think they already gave them out. Oh, I've been looking on Clever or iReady or things like that. You might see a teacher, but that is not the final list. So please understand that things are changing. I was just talking to my secretary right now. We had maybe a handful of dropouts or checkouts because people have been moving. And so when someone checks out in class numbers, we have to shift to balance the classes. So there's still a lot of changing in the air, but just tomorrow evening, you'll get an email/text, and that will be your child's assignment for the year. Again, we're trying our best to make sure we accommodate and meet the needs of our students, but also those of are balancing the classes so that they're not lopsided. So just hold on one more day and your class assignments will be given to you. There's also been questions about supplies. And so the great thing about this last year and just the planning, and there's been some generous people out there that's really loved on our school, is we are really fully stocked when it comes to supplies: crayons, pencils, markers, erasers, all those things are taken care of, paper, notebooks. We have a lot, but many families still were like, hey, what can we get? What supplies? So we asked that every student have a backpack. That's something we can't provide every student at this time. So make sure the student has a sturdy backpack. And we also asked that if you want to buy additional items that we use all the time, like pencils, crayons, color pencils for grades 3 through 5, glue sticks, highlighters, you can get those things as addition or backups. No, that won't hurt. But we also asked that, I don't know if you know the folders, they're like the folders that hold, they're plastic, not the paper ones. If you can get some of those for your child, that would help as well. We're in the process of securing some of those ourselves, but if you want to get some extra, that'll be a good way to start the year off. And then once you meet the teacher, you get the contact information from the teacher. They may have some specifics per grade or per class. You can always ask them. But in general, majority of the supplies that your child will need will be supplied by Eastwood. And I'm glad to say we're able to do that. And then I think visitors to campus. I want to say this is a question that came up in hybrid, and we kind of came up with a protocol. Say you drop your student off and you just have a quick question. Because we have so many safety issues and concerns, we're trying to make sure we do right. We ask that if you have a burning desire to need to speak to me or someone in the office, to come back at 9 o'clock. That way we have the time to receive all our students, get our day started, and then we can set up meetings or appointments. If you can't come back at 9 o'clock, call the office and make an appointment, or maybe we can handle the situation over the phone. But it's really difficult that if you drop your child off at 7:55 and we're trying to make sure everyone is covering the safety of receiving students, and you trying to meet at that moment, it's a little difficult. So we ask that if you could come back at 9 o'clock if you're available. If not, give the office a call so we can either one, schedule an appointment, or maybe help you over the phone. I hope that's a little clear. So that's my spiel. So I'm gonna stop right there. And now I'm gonna jump to the chat just to see, is not too many statements in here. So that's not bad. Does the free lunch program apply to all grades? Yes, all students that are enrolled, the free lunch program applies to them. No one is excluded. If we would like our kids to eat outside, is there somewhere we can request that? Good question. But this is how we're going to do to make it fair and equitable. We're going to have a rotating schedule where one grade level, one day they eat inside, the next day they eat outside. That way it's just someone requests and they're always outside, but then someone's always inside. The best way we can do that is in like an A and B schedule. So half the school we eat inside one day, they'll eat outside the next, and we will rotate That way everyone can get an opportunity to eat outside and it'd be fair and equitable from kindergarten all the way to 5th grade. How will you tell us when a student's up? Oh, now the chat's going a little too fast. Let me make this a little bigger so I can try to keep up. How will you tell us when a student staff tests positive? So we have a flow chart, and this will be, I don't know if it's posted up there yet, but there, even on eastwoodlem.org, there's a tab that says like reopening schools and COVID protocols. That will be populated over the next several days on what the protocols are, how we communicate. But just in a quick nutshell, let's say your child is in a classroom and someone tests positive. We have to do contact tracing, and we need to see, where they're close contacts. That's the first step. So that we need to see, because people need to get tested, things like that. If there were, you'll be informed. And I have a letter that I will have to send home to you guys. I might even make some phone calls. I'm still waiting on the finality of all the details on what's my responsibility, but you will hear from me. If there was a case, but there were no close contacts, there's still an information letter that goes home to inform you of the case, but there was no close contacts. We are not allowed to divulge information like who it was and, things like that. I'm also not allowed to divulge information of which staff members are vaccinated or not. Those are personal things that I am not allowed to speak on. But again, if there's a situation that, let's say your child is in a classroom and there was close contacts or not, you'll be hearing from me. And again, that fully fleshed out outline process will be posted on the website in the next couple of days. So I hope, let me see who asked that question. That was, it says iMac. I'm not sure who the name was, but I want to make sure that I touched on that. But if you need further details on that, feel free to give me a call to school or shoot me an email. Are all school staff fully vaccinated? That's why I just said I can't answer that, unfortunately, due to HIPAA regulations and personal privacy rules. Do we need to apply? No, we don't need to apply for the free lunch program. Again, it's free to all our students. We just ask that you fill out the application because it helps with documentation, numbers, and reporting to the state. And again, that website is www.yourchew.com, yourchew.com. After school program, will returning students receive an email? Our payment is going to be online. I'm not sure about the payments, but I believe Ms. Wright, if you're there, this is the SAC program you're asking about? Yes, I see. All right, so I'm not in charge of that. I was told that we're going to be back up operational at Eastwood, but I'm not sure about the communication, like if they've given you guys the approval yet or not. What's up, DeColeman? You playing football? I would email, and if you don't have the email or phone number, give me a call tomorrow and I can put you in touch with the people because they should be contacting families about that. Okay. All right,
thank you.
No problem. Where kids picked up for the SAC program. So if you have a child that's in kindergarten and they're going to SAC, the aides will pick your child up by the kindergarten wing and walk them to the SAC program. If your child is in 1st grade through 5th grade and going to SAC, they will walk to the back SAC area by themselves. SAC is in room 59. I know before it was in that little enclosed area, but the YMCA has rented that out and are dropping a pre-K program on our campus, which I'm excited about. So we moved SAC to 59 and we're providing another space. So grades 1 through 5 will walk to SAC, and in kinders will be escorted by a supervision aide. What about kids that are on 504? This is Jocelyn's iPhone. Can I just ask you to unmute for a second? You're asking what about kids that are 504? I'm not sure what about them you're asking. If you could unmute for me so I can make sure I answer the question. I'll give you a second. Maybe they got off. Okay. Well, Jocelyn, iPhone, if you are able to come back, I want to circle back to that question. So I'll keep going. Are teachers enforcing reminding kids to wash their hands? Absolutely. All staff members will be reminding students of the frequency to wash hands. So we have soap dispensers and sinks in every classroom. We also have hand sanitizing dispensers in every class. We will have hand sanitizer all around campus. We will continue to encourage students to wash their hands regularly when they enter a classroom, when they leave a classroom, after they eat, when they use the bathroom. We always did that before, but we will continue to do that, especially with COVID being in the air right now. All our teachers, let me go down one more. I have a middle schooler that will bus from Eastwood to Benton. Bus pickup is at 7:44. Would the third grader have to stand outside the gate alone until the gate opens? Good question. In the back of the school where the bus drops off, I have supervision aids and crosswalks. So I have a staff member out there and they get there a little bit before 7:45. That thing want to say about 7:40, between 7:35, 7:40, they're back there. So we will have a staff member back there. Again, when the bell rings, that's when we allow them on campus. So I can say there will be someone back there if they're 7:44, if that's when the bus comes for the older one. By that time, I'll have a staffer back there to help watch any students that are there. So I hope that answers that question. Is there a designated place for drop off of kids by grade level? Now we did this with hybrid because we had a lot more restrictions. So there is no designated drop off anymore. I know we did like the front gate kinder, the side gate, second grade, back gate, third and fourth. Now this is the part that's closer to what we were pre-COVID, where you can enter at any of the gates and you can exit at any of the gates. The only gate that's by the side of the NPR is really for 4 and 5 because they're coming from that side of campus. And for any other student to use that gate, they would pretty much have to pass the front gate. And both gates enter into the front of the school. So all gates are pretty much open for your use for arrival and dismissal. I believe it was at 15% of the COVID positive students, it would cause a shutdown. This is Miss Alexis Sanchez. Off top hand, I am not sure what the exact number is to like trigger a shutdown. I can look that up and get that back to you because I don't want to misquote. I know the number at one time was one thing and numbers change, but I'm not sure like right now what they are. So I can make a note. Number to trigger shutdown. Ms. Sanchez, could you unmute for me?
Sure. And that would be for either a class or or for the school.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure. So I would have to see class or school. The way a shutdown works, like in hybrid, it was like if the case come, we collapse a class. Now, because the teachers if they're vaccinated, and even like middle school, high school, when students are vaccinated, there's a different protocol to shutting down, collapsing a class and things like that. But again, I will look into the details of the number and I can get back to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me go next question. If children get sick, are parents required to get a test for their child before they're able to return back to school? Ms. Benuelos, can you unmute, please?
Yes.
So you're just saying sick with COVID or just like a common cold?
Well, sick in general, right? Because
Okay.
as a parent, we don't know if our kid has COVID or not.
Correct.
Like they're tested.
No, go ahead.
Oh, unless they're tested, we won't know whether or not it's just a common cold or not, right?
Yeah. So they have the symptoms checked, like, or they have a fever, they have a cold, runny nose. Like I would say we can always play it safe, like to keep them home if you think they're sick, just to kind of be mindful. I can't tell you to get them a COVID test every time because the child may just be sick. But if you have concerns, or I would say use your discretion and see about that. I know, like say your child tests positive or someone in the class and there's close contact. Again, the form that I was talking about that will be fleshed out does talk about recommendations, how to get tested, when, and things like that. But if it's just a common cold, like say the child woke up and was sneezing, I got terrible allergies, I had a bad day, maybe I just stay home today to see if it was just allergies or was it something more serious. If you have questions like trying to decipher, always give me a call and we can kind of walk you through and help you make that type of decision, so that we're making sure you're being safe, we're being safe, and we're all both on the same page moving forward. Does that make sense?
I just wanted to clarify why we're not requiring kids to be tested just to be safe before they go back to school. For example, I have 3 children too, which are going to start brand new at Eastwood. Last Friday, one of the children looked to seem like maybe allergies, maybe a cold, I'm not sure, right?
Mhm.
So I could keep them home, but what if it lasts for a week and we don't really know, right? Unless it's.
But,
they
and that's why I
can-
said, like, let's have a conversation. Cause
Okay,
again, I can't say, hey, like, I think, yeah, we should get tested, but every time someone gets cold, they run and get tested. I can't say, hey, that's the mandate, but I can, we can talk, we can just say what's best. I can make recommendations. I can point you kind of in the right or wrong direction. But I'm just thinking it's a slippery slope. If I say every time someone's sick, you got to get tested, and that's not a mandate from the county. That's not a mandate from, my authorities. So like I said, we will, if ever in question, give a call. So let's work through it together. Okay.
okay. Thank you. And the reason I asked this is we're coming from LA Unified and they're requiring weekly testing for
Yeah,
their.
it's a different district. So yeah, and different districts have different protocols in place. So, and again, I'm not the professional on what's right or wrong. I just know there's differences, and that's all. Okay. Um, if we need to drop off food for my son from outside for lunch, is it possible? You can drop off lunch. We ask that you send it with them. You're not gonna be able to come on campus, so we can receive it and we can deliver it. But it's best if you can send it with them. But I understand things happen. Sometimes they forget. You got to drop it off later. That's fine. We will work with you on that. Sorry I missed this, but will parents receive the flow chart? Yes, I'll be again. That's things like that I'll be posting. I have a lot of actually COVID documents that I have to send to you guys. So I might flood your emails the next couple of days, but they're giving me every day, send this to family, send this to family. So just be mindful that stuff is coming. What program is going to be in place to support students who experience learning loss during distance learning? Mr. Beeson, good question. And so we understand, I will speak on behalf of Eastwood, and I'll just collectively say we understand that the last year and a half has not been ideal for student learning. We know that some students did well in distance learning. Hey, they like learning from home, while others maybe not so much. We know some families were able to do a lot of work with their students while other families had to work. And so it was a very taxing time. So we understand all that. And we understand that there might be some learning loss, or there might be some that maybe not progress like we wished or desired. So we know that we have to change how we instruct and teach. We have to be flexible. And I believe I've been telling a lot of teachers, before we even rush to the academics, we need to make sure we make connections and build culture in the classroom, because I feel like I can throw work at students all day, but they don't feel like I know I care or I know who they are after being out of school a year and a half. They'll tune us out. And so I want to say that there's been a lot of PD and a lot of training with our staff. The district office has also hired back the intervention teachers. So I'm pleased to say we have an intervention teacher that will be helping support instruction in the classroom and also outside. We are fortunate that that person used to be on staff and we were able to bring her back. So that's Miss Elisa White. So for those that may have had Miss White when she was teaching second grade, she is our ITOSA, or teacher on special assignment for intervention this year. Again, and then there are other tools that the district has been making available that we will get further into as the year gets on, but there's like some digital online tutoring options. I was putting in a program for some type of after school support. Teachers are allowed, at their will, if they, I just saw an email today about providing possible tutoring, like virtually, if they want. I know some teachers tutored before just to help students out. So we have a lot that we're trying to offer. It's still, we're going to wait to see it flush out. I told the teachers we need to go a step, let's take it a step at a time. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, because we try to solve all the problems all at once, we'll burn out. We want to make sure we do it layer by layer, step by step. But there are things in place to help support the learning loss and just being out of school and having to reacclimate to school and learning. What does it mean to sit in a classroom all day again? It's going to take some time for that adjustment. And again, collectively, I believe the staff of Eastwood are aware of that and are planning to address that. All right, let's see if I can go a little faster. When there's a direct contact with a child who has COVID, will the class be online for 2 weeks? Ms. D, there's the answer to this question is no. They're like, just shut down, go to online for 2 weeks. The flow chart, the things I will be sending out will outline what that protocol and process and procedure looks like. So I just hold and wait until you get some of those documents from me. And if we still need to have conversation to clarify, I'll be available for that. How do we apply for SAC? shoot me an email, Miss Sally. That way I can get you in touch with the right people. It's through a different department. So it's not through me. It's not through our school. So I have to give you the website and the phone number and the people to contact, and then you can talk to that department. Ms. Schultz, we'll continue to have roundtables throughout the year instead of the Wednesday morning assembly. So we'll still continue to have roundtables throughout the year, and we will still do Wednesday assemblies through our new on-site studio. We're going to continue doing the assemblies because we want to start including our students to help us like co-host and be a part. So 4th and 5th grade students, it'll be something that they can grow up to. They will be like co-hosts, producers, editors, things like that. We want to use their skills. I know a lot of them are very talented, and we want to incorporate that here and cultivate some of those skills before they leave us at Eastwood. So we will have flyers going out. Like if they're interested, they kind of have to apply. It's a little application. They got to get a recommendation from a teacher, stuff like that. But I think it's good to help prepare them, not to showcase their skills, but also to be involved. It was never meant for just to be the Mr. Ramsey show or the Mr. Ramsey, Miss Lena show. But because our students weren't here, they weren't able to actually help us. But we are now looking to bring them in to continue those Wednesday assemblies. So we will not be doing the assemblies like on the blacktop like we used to. We'll just do them on YouTube, and the classes will watch them from class on the monitors. And you guys can tune in from home as well. All right. What resources will the school provide to parents of the child we're in close contact? It's like the same question. Again, all of that will be posted on the website, and they will be coming out in an email. And I want to get that to you guys. And then if that doesn't answer all these questions, then we can get into further detail. But again, what I have to share, the protocols, T1 protocols, the reopening of school, the close contact, all those things are pretty outlined pretty thoroughly. And if, again, the documents that I'm going to share don't address it, then you can always shoot me an email, give me a call so I can help you guys through that. Oh, I hit the for the kids doing homeschool, what is the process to come back after vaccinated? Are you speaking about the independent study and virtual program? Okay, so if you are independent study,
coming back from the independent study, or will they be locked down as they were before, where they have to choose which one you're gonna do and you're locked into it?
No, so because we are full-time open back up, some have elected to do an independent virtual program. If you say, you know what, we want to stop this, we want to come back to campus, all you have to do is notify us, and that can start the process. Or you can notify your teacher / the director of alternative education that kind of heads up independent study virtual program, and they will contact us and say, hey, this student is coming back to your site. They are disenrolling from us and re-enrolling back at Eastwood. So it's a very seamless process. It's just, so contact us or contact your teacher through the virtual program, and we can move the students back into Eastwood. If we are unable to go on campus, and this is the first time in SAC, how do the kids know where to go? The staff on campus will help. Again, if you're not in kindergarten, it's like 1st through 5th, and you're not sure, let your teacher know, and your child can tell your teacher, and we can make sure that we have staff that can escort and show them the way. And the teachers know where SAC is as well, so they might even be able to walk them or direct them. But so if you can't come on, we can make sure that your children don't get lost. We can make sure they find their way to SAC. Our kids and staff required to test COVID tests when coming back to school. Tests are not required to come back to school. I think, is this question mean like just to come back on Thursday, you need a COVID test? That's not the case, if that's how I'm reading this question correctly. If I'm not, please correct me. This is from Grace. Okay. Are there additional procedures in place for sanitizing lunch areas, high touch? Yeah, we have a new, this is about cleaning and the procedure. So there is sanitizing and cleaning. There's a schedule. It's more cleaning than usual. We have the disinfectants sprays. I forget what they're called, but we actually got more of those so we can use them more frequently. And that's, again, using the multi-purpose room and the outside eating and spreading out some of these lunch and recess times allows us to clean more frequently and in between students. So that's another reason why we use the inside outside and expand the eating, so that when the students are finished, the next grade is inside another station, outside is vacant, we can clean it so the next group can come on and have a sanitized station. So we have accounted for that question. Eating together inside for unvaccinated children is unsafe. Why are you having them eating the NPR at all? Having them eating NPR because of spacing is an issue. We have to spread the students out. Again, until we get all the seating, we can't have students sitting on top of each other outside. And so we have been advised to utilize extra spaces until those other tables and things come so that everyone can continue to eat outside. There are some campuses that always ate inside, and they have been asked to utilize outside and inside. And if they didn't have outside, they've been trying to secure tables and chairs and benches so that we can accommodate that. We understand the concern and the need to get outside, but we also can't have students sitting shoulder to shoulder eating. We have to spread them out. Can vaccinated should be eating outdoors. I agree with Tom. So okay, can assume request to step outside classroom and get fresh air during class. This is Miss Evangelista. Teachers, that's a question for your teacher because I don't want to speak for them. If they ask to go outside, a question that we will have to ask as a follow-up is like the supervision and making sure that they're not just wandering, but coming in contact with someone else and things like that. So that would be a question to ask your teacher because that is a classroom protocol. They may actually have scheduled breaks where the teacher takes the kids outside to get fresh air and go to the restroom and things like that. And I don't want to speak on behalf of all the teachers because all teachers' classrooms will run a little differently. So I would make that request to the teacher and ask them what the protocol is first. And then if, we need to have a follow-up question discussion period about that, we can. All right, couple questions. All the staff and aides fully vaccinated. I cannot answer vaccination questions on people's behalf. When it's teachers' assignments, maybe you guys came in late, so I'll just kind of revisit these. Our staff and aides fully vaccinated. I cannot speak about vaccinations of staff for privacy. When will we know our teachers' assignments? That will come out tomorrow in an email/text from me. The first year of in-person school for my son, will there be someone outside to guide him? We will have staff guiding students where they need to go and receiving them, lining up. We will have staff guiding them on where to go at dismissal, to SAC, and things like that. All right, social distancing is forced in the classroom. So 6 feet distance is something that was in the spring. Social distancing is no longer required. The language says 3 feet where permissible and possible. So we will try to do that. And in the event that we can't, we do have the plexiglass shields to assist. And like I said before, if you are comfortable and don't want your student with a shield, you can tell the teacher, take the shield off. If you're fine with them having the shield, you can just don't say anything and the shield will stay there between your student and someone else at their desk. And limits in class sizes, yes, I have a ratio of 24.4 students in grades K through 3 and 30. I make an attempt to get to 31, but I can go up to 34 in grades 4 and 5. So those are kind of like our caps and averages. We are trying to keep them as low as possible because we just believe packing out a class is not best and ideal for students or teachers. So we're trying to do our best to keep classes as low as possible. If I dropped off early for the playground time in the morning, just so you know, there is no playground time in the morning. Anytime students get dropped off early because of supervision, they stand in line at their poles with their numbers. The playground and recess, the grass areas, there was no free like play time in the morning. So will kinder and elementary students be using iPad? This is a good question. And so this, I'm supposed to be getting language today in email form about the policy. So grades 3 through 5 will continue to be able to take their iPads home as like a checkout plan program. Grades K to 2 will, at this time to start the year, will use the iPads only in school and they will just have them remain at school. I know it's a big change, especially like for some of our second graders that have had iPads for like the last year and a half. But at this time, we are doing inventory. We're getting new devices. They're trying to update things that have been out off campus for a year and a half. So they say 3 through 5 will continue to use them in school and at home, and K-2 will use it in school and not take them home. So that's a big change from what we've been used to for the last year and a half, I'll say. Unvaccinated students eating indoors. All right, so all those family members that have a concern about students eating indoors, please give me a call at the school so we can discuss your concerns further. And then I can talk to you about what we have in place and what our protocols are, but also to hear your concerns one-on-one and see how we can come to some resolution. Does that sound like a good plan? Okay. It's possible to do the virtual Zoom from home. If my child isn't feeling well, we will no longer be doing virtual Zoom with the teachers. And like, I know like every teacher used to Zoom. If your child is sick, teachers are not Zooming. They are just teaching in person. So if your child is sick, we do still have Seesaw and Schoology. And so assignments and works may be uploaded there and the child can do them and send them back. But the Zooming option for instruction, that is not an option at this time. Have I been able to add staff to be able to help with extra cleaning and bathroom breaks? No, we still have the day and night custodian, and our night custodian comes in, I think around 1 o'clock, right at we're like the lunch hour to kind of help with that. And during the day, Mr. Frank, he is the one cleaning, and we have a schedule that is manageable. Sometimes that includes closing certain bathrooms down, like one on that side, one on that side, so they can dry and clean and then switch. We also have downtime, like right after intake. If anyone used bathroom, he can go and disinfect them. And with the disinfectant spray, it just has the dwell time. I think it's like 2 minutes, 1 minute. So it's just spray 1 minute, then we can open and we're back open for disinfecting. Now, if he has to clean, if there's a accident, thing like that, we always had those. It takes a little longer, but for the schedule we have, it seems to be working and is in place. And again, if we have to revisit and change, we will as necessary. All right. We'll be playing with equipment and how it'll be sanitized. So if we're outside and we're starting a slow rollout, so like the first few days of school, it'd be eating outside and it'll just kind of be like walking recess, kids just outside getting air, learning again the rules and routines about following the rules outside. Then we will start with like hula hoops, jump ropes, and some simple things that we have a lot of in supply where we can have for a class set or a group set. And then we can disinfect and leave to the side and still have enough for the next set. And so we have also purchased additional equipment like balls and things, but we are slowly moving back into that because we understand there's a lot of students outside with sharing and things like that. The directive that I had from some protocols says that students just have to wash their hands before and after use, like playing outside. But again, before we just jump out and say, oh, here's the balls, here's soccer, here's this, we need to teach some protocols and routines. And that's so that we're going really slow when it comes to playing outside, because we don't want to be careless and it'd be something that we could have avoided. So you'll be hearing from your students like what they did at recess. They were doing more learning, more routines and practice, because I feel it's important that we do that first before we just cut students loose to be playing outside. But I do understand they need the time to be outside and to stretch their legs, get some fresh air, and just the socialization aspect that many of them have not had, being at home, learning through distance learning. All right, do kindergartens get escorted to the restroom? Kindergartens have restrooms in their classrooms, so they don't have to leave the classroom to use the restroom. They have little, really tiny toilets. So like, that's the good thing about kinder. They don't have to worry about leaving to go far. They go right in their classrooms. They have multiple sinks to wash their hands in their classroom as well. So that kind of answers that. How do I cancel SAC application? Shoot me an email. If you want to cancel an application, I will forward it to the director and then they can be in touch with you. Will the NPR room have plexiglass for lunch? We do have shields for inside. We do have that. So again, because we have to use inside, we are trying to use every precaution possible to make sure students are safe and secure. I don't want to say it's going to be like the Olympics, but if you looked at the Olympic clips, like when they had to go to the cafeteria, everyone had their little station to make sure that they were secure and safe. We will have something set up similar to that. Again, it won't be on the Olympic level. I'm just saying that right now. It's not the Olympics, like, but it will be something to make sure our students are safe in the event that they have to eat inside. Are there still combined grade level classes? We do have combo classes. We make our best effort to try to do away with them, but what happens is because of enrollment in numbers, that determines if we have to have a combo class. So if I have a class of 25 in first grade, another class of 24 in first grade, and then I have 12 more first graders, I can't have a class of 12. And then so I have to combine classes. And so we try to do away with them. But I think we are looking at a combo class. I think it's in the middle of the grades. Because again, we've been working to try to take them away. So again, some of you say, oh, I've heard there was a K1 combo, or, I saw this. Things have been changing since last week. So just be patient. But unfortunately, we do have some combos because of enrollment. And last year, our enrollment was at 440, 435. We're down to about 400 because decline in enrollment across Southern California is an issue. A lot of families are moving out of state, getting homes, bigger homes, selling their homes here, moving out. And so the number drops. It's harder to keep all the classes flush straight when we have those odd numbers. So we try our best. And then in the event that we have to, it is not a knock or like, oh, your child was low or should have been retained. It's actually an opportunity for this. Your child is more of an independent learner and they can learn a little faster, or they can move at a faster pace, or they can receive information and then work and show mastery. And so those are the type of students we look for combo classes, because it is hard for someone that has a lot of needs, or like needs a lot of instruction, or needs a lot of support to be successful in a combo class. So that's the idea. Now, sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, but again, that is the goal. It's not oh, your child should have been retained, that's why they're in a combo class. That's not why we have them. It's really an enrollment and a numbers issue, and it's the way we have to rectify how many kids we have in a class to a teacher and our average and things like that. But I am pleased to say, I can't get into the details, there was some negotiations on how to get away from combos, and that has really helped this year. I was able to collapse one or two combos that we would have had we not had that new agreement. So I'm glad to say we are doing away with combos the best we can. All right. Let me see. I still have my daughter's iPad. I was supposed to drop it off. She's a third grader. No. If everyone still has iPads. I'm just saying for this coming year, there has been a change in the policy. So if you have a student in the kinders don't have it. If you have a first or second grader, when they come to school, they bring the iPad, we will keep the iPad here at school. So we work on checking it in. If you have a 3 through 5, they will continue to use their iPad, but there will be times where we will need them to make sure they have it on campus, because they will get inspected and we might need to switch them out with newer devices. Like say it's broken, needs updates, it's outdated, and we need to get new. So I will be giving you dates over the next couple of weeks about that. But we ask that every day for 3 through 5, make sure your student brings their iPad to school. And if you have an iPad in first or second grade, bring it to school and we will take it back in, check it in, make sure it works, and make sure that they have the access to that during the school day. All right. Thank you, by the way, it's a cool Dalmatian t-shirt. Well, thank you for the compliment on my shirt. Will the kids be eating with other kids in their classroom? Kids don't eat in the classrooms. Wait a minute. Other kids in their classroom, do they sit wherever they want? We are trying to keep them in groups, Ms. Schultz. She said, do kids eat wherever they want or with their class? We'll try to keep them with class because that's the stable cohort or the group that they're already with. And then we will kind of transition from there. Because before, I think it was like, oh, you just sit wherever you want. But for order, and especially like inside and outside, it'd be best that as they come as a class, we seat them in a general area and we spread them out by class. Again, some people say, oh, I want them to eat with their friends. We got to start with safety first. And I think the easiest way is to keep the classes together so we know who's who. And if we ever had to do contact tracing, we know who's next to who's in court interacting with who. So we'll start with that. God willing, things get better, things lighten up, we can, change. But right now we need to do what's best for safety. And so it'd be easiest to kind of keep them together as they come out, sit them together, and we go from there. All right. Great job answering all the questions. Oh, thank you, Mr. Reinheimer, for the compliment. Last one. Oh, wait, someone just gave me another one. I was like, we got to the end, and now here comes more questions. Will there be iPad chargers in the class if we forget? Yes, so we have some chargers in the classroom. The carts are here. We'll be able to assist. We ask that you guys please charge the devices overnight so that they're good to go in the morning. But in the event that you forget, we will have accommodations for that. So I was in kindergarten last year. I still have his iPad. So if you were in kindergarten last year and you have his iPad, please have him come to school with it, and we will collect it when you come to school. My son will be a first timer on campus. Will someone escort him to the bathroom? Yes. Again, the teachers do a good job introducing students to campus. And with students being off maybe a year and a half, they will do that. They take trips around campus as a group. They kind of say, here's the office, here's the NPR, here's the library, here's the restroom. So they do like a tour. So everyone can get acclimated to campus, and with students being off, they will be doing that again. So I want to say we will make sure your students know where to go. We're not going to just assume they all know. We will be teaching them everything about Eastwood all over again. Someone said it, kindergarten is, the first graders are basically kindergarten because they haven't been in school. Again, our teachers are aware of that. And so they will be adjusting their instruction and the modeling and things that they have to teach, like this is what school is, because some may not have been to school. They are aware, and they will be teaching all of that to your students. So the students have to take their personal iPads if they haven't borrowed an iPad from the district. No, their personal iPads stay home. So if they did not ever sign out a personal iPad, they will use a district iPad here at school. If they're in grades 3 through 5, again, we will ask that you fill out the form so that we can issue a district iPad to your child. Again, if you had your personal one, you don't need to send that to school. They will have devices here on campus. Do kids still eat lunch on minimum day? Yes, on minimum days, we feed them lunch. They still eat, even on minimum days. The schedules are slid up a little bit, but we still feed our students every school day. Thank goodness, it is 5:54. I've got to the end of the questions. That's kind of was my goal. I didn't want to keep you longer than an hour, and I wanted to make sure I got to all the questions. If, again, I know that was a lot, I will be posting this and sending it out so you guys can watch it again. Or if you say, I didn't think I got that, let me skip back and listen to it again. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, please give me a call at the school or shoot me an email so that we can discuss this. I know school starts in a couple of days. In your mind, you might go to bed tonight and be like, wait a minute, I didn't think about this. That's fine. Reach out so that we can help you. We are here to support you. We're here to make sure that you and your child has a great experience at Eastwood. I really pride myself on trying to make sure we are a customer-friendly school, which means that we know our clientele and we want to serve the needs of our clientele. We don't want to be the school that just does it our way. We want to hear the feedback from and adjust so that we are providing the best service possible. And that's my heart. And sincerely, I don't say nobody means perfect, but we are progressing. We are working in the right direction to always better our image, better our service, better what we provide. And your feedback is a big part of that. So I want to say thank you guys for your time this evening. I know it is a lot and your minds are probably spinning, but I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so with that, first day of school is on Thursday. And let me see, what time is that late bell? Y'all, let me see the hands up. What time is going back to the first 8 o'clock? There you go. Mr. Reinheimer put it up. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is when we start school, and at 2:17. We will dismiss Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. On Wednesdays and any other early release day, we release at 12:45. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you soon. Have a good night.